Adult Erotica in Comics is a series where we dive into the history of erotica in comic books as well as art. We talk about creators through history from a historical standpoint. This video is for educational purposes. Hello and welcome to an all-new Adult Erotica in Comics. You're watching SVOD82. I am Scott. You can call me Scotty. Call me whatever you would like, just as long as you hit that like button on the way in. I'd be eternally grateful. This week, we take a look at the life and creations of an award-winning American writer in, but not limited to, underground comics. His work is typically pretty adult in nature, and he is probably best known for his autobiographical comic series in the early 90s titled Real Stuff. This week, we are talking about Dennis P. Eichhorn, so stick around. Dennis P. Eichhorn was born on August 19th of 1945 in Deer Lodge, Montana, in the infirmary of Montana State Prison. He was adopted at a few days old by a young couple by the name of Eileen and Elmer Eichhorn. They lived in Boise, Idaho, so that became his home growing up. He was a talented athlete as well as good student in school, and would graduate from Bora High School in Boise in 1963. He went on to college to further his education and would attend Boise Junior College, which is now known as Boise State University. He was a talented football player and also attended Whitman College and the University of Idaho on athletic scholarships, the latter of which he graduated with a BA in sociology in 1968. He never knew that he was adopted. He didn't find out until he was well into his 30s. He never met his biological mother. Dennis was a contributing writer to the Argonaut, which was the school paper for the University of Idaho. During this time, he also did editing work on underground comic, the Moscow Duck Review, writing on one of the stories, which was rendered by Riley Clark. Through the 70s, Eichhorn would work as a writer and entertainment editor for the Seattle Sun newspaper, after making a move to Seattle himself. He would work on the paper until its final issue in 1982. From there, he became a writer and senior editor at The Rocket, a monthly music magazine in the 1980s and early 90s. This is where Dennis would meet a number of Seattle area and Northwestern cartoonists and illustrators who eventually became contributors to his Real Stuff and Real Smut series. During this period in the early 80s, he met cartoonist Peter Bagge. This led to Eichhorn's inclusion in Weirdo magazine, which Bagge edited at the time. Dennis would then begin writing down regurgitations of stories he'd entertained close friends with for years. This led to the creation of his anthology series, Real Stuff, published by Fantagraphics Books from 1990 through 1995. Dennis Eichhorn loved the works of Robert Crumb, Justin Green, and Harvey Pekar, and like Pekar, began writing true stories for others to illustrate. But unlike Pekar, Dennis emphasized action-filled tales of sex, substance abuse, and violence, much of this taking place in Eichhorn's native state of Idaho. The title was an amalgamation of two pre-existing comic book titles, Mark Zingarelli's Real Life and Peter Bagge's Neat Stuff. Stories in this Eisner Award-nominated series were illustrated by many artists, including Ed Brubaker, Roberta Gregory, Aline Kaminsky-Crumb, and many others. After 9 issues, Fantagraphics experienced issues shipping Real Stuff to Canada and the United Kingdom due to its explicit sexual content. A spin-off series titled Real Smut was created in 1992 to remove that material from Real Stuff. From 92 until 2006, he wrote comic stories articles and book reviews for Scram Magazine, a Los Angeles music publication. In 1993, Eichhorn funded Starhead Comics publication of Real Schmuck Comics. He also paid for the publication of 2 additional Starhead titles as well, The Amazing Adventures of Ace International in 1993 and Northwest Cartoon Cookery in 1995. He would fall out with Fantagraphics in 1995. In 2004, Top Shelf Productions released The Legend of Wildman Fisher, a collection of comic book stories about the outsider musician who had appeared in Real Stuff. Eichhorn co-authored with artists J.R. Williams and Holly Tuttle. That same year, Swifty Morales Press published Real Stuff by Dennis and a host of artists, a collection of Eichhorn's comic books and other sources. Eichhorn said that the preponderance of violent stories in this book resulted from the publisher's selection of material, pointing out that the book contains approximately 1/5 of his output. Dennis Eichhorn would enter into an agreement with Boing Boing in 2013 to post some of his old Real Stuff comics online. Eichhorn's work was mentioned, though not reprinted, in 2015 and 2016 editions of the Best American Comics. His Real Stuff series got him nominated for a slew of Eisner Awards in 93 and 94. He was an Ignatz Award finalist for The Legend of Wildman Fisher, and he won a Harvey Award in 1999 for Best New Series for Spirit, The New Adventures. His writing has appeared in numerous anthologies, from Sex Kinks of the Rich and Famous for Ripoff Press, to Naughty Bits, issue 5 for Fantagraphics, Weirdo, issues 14, 16, and 19 from Last Gasp, to Popcorn Pimps by Fantagraphics, and that's just to name a few. So now, as I show some of his work across the screen, I'm going to ask you guys, what do you think of Dennis Eichhorn? Were you familiar with any of his comic work? Had you ever heard of Real Stuff previous to this video, or any of the other anthologies he appeared in? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you hit that like button and are subscribed as well so that you don't miss future videos. I drop new videos every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I want to give a special shout out to the channel members. Thank you all so much. If you're interested in joining, hit that join button. It's only $1.99 a month and you become eligible for cool channel perks, as well as supporting charity and helping a content creator that's passionate about comic books. So give that some thought. Whether or not you do that, I appreciate you watching regardless. I appreciate that more than anything. Thank you all so much. Be sure to tune in to next week's video. It'll drop Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time every single week. I hope you all have a fantastic week. See you next time. Peace.